Monster Jam 2022 schedule announcement is brought to you in part by Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Now it's time for an Unleash the Beast moment of 2021 brought to you by Monster Energy.
And now Tyler Duke gonna make a sharp turn. He will line up for the Monster Energy backflip ramp.
He's going to have to go slow, slow.
Gets it in, gets it up, gets the bounce. And oh, what a save for Tyler Duke!
We saw him do that once already this year. That's why he comes away with his freestyle win.
Thought he was dead in the water, catches it on one tire, lands it. That has to be the save of the night.
Welcome back to the 2022 Monster Jam schedule announcement presented by BKT. I've been getting asked for months on social media about when is the 2022 season announcement coming.
Well, that's right now.
Obviously.
It's happening. It's time for the 2022 Monster Jam Stadium Championship Series Yellow announcement presented by Spin Master.
And we start things off with the five-time World Finals champion Adam Anderson back in Gravedigger. And look at Colton Eichelberger in Max D, his first Stadium Championship Series. Charlie Pauken back in Monster Mutt, where he won his only World Finals championship. Bryce Kenny in Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Camden Murphy back behind the wheel of Bakugan Dragonoid. And you can't forget about Caleb Blood in Soldier Fortune.
Corey Rummel returns to pilot Megalodon, and a new driver, Craig Champion, in El Toro Loco. I'm really pumped to see a father-son duo on this tour. So it'll be Jim Kohler, Avenger, the father, out there on tour with his son Chris Kohler driving Axe, and this will be Chris's first time in a Stadium Championship Series. Then the last two on this tour will be a pair of brothers, Mike Christensen driving Vendetta and Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack.
That's a lot of work for Jim Kohler. He's got 4 trucks on this tour, so no rest for the weary there. Let's talk about Camden Murphy in Bakugan Dragonoid. So he had to sit back and watch Ryan Anderson win a Stadium Series championship in what is basically his truck. He debuted Bakugan Dragonoid. Now he gets to come back, but there's got to be some kind of pressure on him knowing that he has to follow in the footsteps of Ryan Anderson.
Well, I don't think just pressure, Scott. I think Camden Murphy's going to come out with a vengeance. He's got something to prove. He doesn't want somebody else to go out and win in his truck. He wants to go out and prove that he deserves to be there, and that's his seat.
And you have to remember, too, he came oh so close just 2 years ago on his own tour to winning that championship. And there's a few times that he didn't make competitions where he's got to be looking back and kicking himself. And for me, I'm looking at Colton Eichelberger. You know, he filled in Max D a couple years ago in Houston. We saw him come out so strong and prove that he could do it in a stadium. And then back to the arenas he went. So for him to compete on this series, it's going to be something special. Now that we know who's competing on the Stadium Championship Series Yellow, let's take a look at the cities where they'll compete for a chance to receive an automatic bid to Monster Jam World Finals. So they'll kick things off on the West Coast with 4 big weekends in California, then to Monster Jam favorite NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. We'll see El Paso in the mix, as well as a couple events in Florida, and then head up the East Coast. A special place to me, the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. I don't know what it is about the dome up there, but it always has some wow moments.
Well, you were there when it opened, so that's probably why it is a huge deal for you. Let's talk about Anaheim, California, the return to California for Monster Jam. Angel Stadium, my favorite baseball stadium for a Monster Jam event, just an electric atmosphere. But I'm going to tell you a couple obscure facts here about some of these buildings here. You talk about East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, huge building, but the best flea market you will ever go to in
100%.
your life. You can find everything there. And then Huntsville, Alabama, the Von Braun Center. Incredible atmosphere for Monster Jam, but there is a 100-yard hallway that connects the building to the hotel. It is the hottest heat you will ever feel in your life. So if that interests you, the Von Braun Center is the place to be. Colt, from this list of heavy hitters, it's going to be a tough lineup to see who comes out on top. So now I'm going to put some pressure on you. If you got to pick one driver to win the series championship, who's it going to be?
Scott, you got a good point. This is a very strong group of drivers here, but how can you bet against Adam Anderson? It's the 40th anniversary for Gravedigger. He's going to be on his A game. He's going to go out there to win every single event. Racing, skills challenge, freestyle, everything is going to be on Adam Anderson, and he's the one I think to beat. But the one person I mentioned earlier, Scott, is Camden Murphy. In 2020, he debuted this Bakugan Dragonoid. He came out with a vengeance, did some awesome moves, some wild, crazy stuff. So one thing I'm definitely going to keep my eye on is Camden Murphy in that Bakugan Dragonoid.
Now let's hear from one of the competitors on this series. Joining us now via the Great Clips cam is the driver of the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, Bryce Kenny. Bryce, welcome to the Monster Jam 2022 season announcement. Now you've seen who your competitors are, you know the lineup, and then who stands in your way for that automatic bid to World Final. So what are your initial thoughts looking at this series?
Well, I think it's going to be just intense. Every single weekend we go out, it's going to be highly competitive. I'm excited by every single competitor that I saw, but I'm also a little bit nervous as well. I mean, there are really no easy competitors to go against in all of Monster Jam, but I feel like that our tour is just especially stacked.
So, we saw you one season ago really laser focused on the two-wheel skills challenge. And so how do you think that focus will help you or enable you to maybe take the series championship this season?
Well, I think the focus came from just needing to improve from the seasons before. I mean, that felt like the one event that we just I couldn't go out there and get quite good scores on, and I was okay in racing and freestyle, and I needed to kind of fill that gap with the Great Clips Skills Challenge. And then this season, it felt like the Skills Challenge was really where we shined. And it was almost as if now we've got to go back and find our groove again in the freestyle competition. So we're going to put it all together. I know my team is very confident. I'm very confident. I just am looking forward to January to get here already.
So a driver that you cannot seem to get away from at all is Adam Anderson. You both always seem to be competing on the same series. You have your podcast. It's like you're a package deal now. So I'm going to give you credit where credit's due. You started to put together, a really good racing record against him. But do you think he is your biggest threat on this tour?
Adam Anderson, no matter where he is, he's the biggest threat. Whether he's having an on night or an off night, he doesn't have very many off nights. And that's the thing. It's when it comes to chasing a championship, it's all about consistency. And Adam Anderson has to be one of the most consistent drivers in the history of the sport. And so for me, yeah, I mean, if I'm chasing a championship, I'm chasing after Adam Anderson. But if it's just within different competitions that we have, whether it's racing or skills or freestyle, that's really me versus the truck in that moment. And so Adam is so fun to run against. For me, it's out of pure respect that I want to take out Adam. I want to end up on top when it comes to between the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior versus that black and green wrecking machine. I think all of us drivers love those moments when we can take out a gravedigger competitor, and Adam is no different. So I'm excited about being on the same tour with him once again. I think it's our 6th straight season, maybe 5th. But I'm antsy to get back out there and line up against him in racing once again.
All right, Bryce, so one way to shut me up this year, win an event championship. I promise you nobody in that building will be going more nuts than Colt and I up in the broadcast booth. So thank you very much for joining us, and good luck next year on Stadium Championship Series Yellow.
Thank you, guys.
Now you know the drivers will be competing on Stadium Championship Series Yellow, and you also know the cities and venues that they will compete in. So here is how you can get your tickets to see them in action.
Tickets for select cities will go on pre-sale beginning Tuesday, September 14th for preferred customers, and you can sign up to become a preferred customer absolutely free at monsterjam.com. Now, tickets for the general public to some select cities will go on sale on September 21st. You can check monsterjam.com often as we will announce new markets. We'll have updates and announcements. And of course, our preferred customers will be the first to know. So what are you waiting for? Sign up right now to be a preferred customer.